Hey everybody, Future Ian here, letting you know that in this episode, our audio settings weren't set right during the initial recording. So part of this episode has bad audio. So if you don't like peaky or semi-plosive audio, this is your warning. If you don't mind putting up with that, I will see you in a bit.
Hello and welcome to the Chillin' with Millennials podcast. I am Dustin, one of your hosts.
And I am Ian, your other host.
Yes. So, thank you for joining us again, and we look forward to chilling today. And today we have a very special topic. So
Is
these
it Dune?
normally come
It's
out.
Dune.
These normally come out what, like a month after we actually record it?
Something like that.
Yeah. And I think this topic is like a month old, so it's probably going to be like 2 months old by the time this comes out, huh?
Yeah, or if I just, magically become genius at editing or just don't sleep for 12 days, it'll probably come out sooner.
All right, cool. So please don't sleep for 12 days. Um,
No, yeah.
so yeah, we're going to be talking about the most popular show in the world right now,
Dune, right?
Dune.
Dune?
What's
Yeah. I
yeah,
watched that.
no. Is that a
What?
movie or a
It's
TV
pretty,
show?
it's a movie because, on
Is it like a
HBO.
new movie?
Yeah. It's a remake of a 80s movie that was based on a cult classic science fiction novel.
I think I watched the original one.
Yeah, that was pretty shit.
That was pretty like just weird. That was
No,
like one
yeah.
of those
It's,
movies that if you watched it when you're a kid, you probably like get scarred for life.
yeah, it's like Dark Crystal level of scarring, you know?
It was kind of like if Star Wars, like it's almost wait, it came out after Star Wars, right? Star Wars was like the 70s, right?
Yeah, I
So
think so.
yeah, it's technically came out after Star Wars, but somehow looked shittier than Star Wars.
I mean, they relied on the technology, which wasn't that great to begin with. You know,
I guess that's just defines the 80s kind of art, really. Over
pretty
reliance on like
much,
synths, but I guess it's coming back. Um,
little bit.
yeah, but yeah, I
But
mean,
yeah,
I
Dune.
watched that last year and I was almost scarred as an adult. So
Wait, what? Dune?
yeah,
Really? Huh? Because yeah, it's not something I would choose to watch
yeah, I wouldn't watch it
normally.
again.
Like at least like the Room, I would watch it, but that's more for the laws. Like Dune, I probably wouldn't watch it because it's like a boring Star Wars, but that's as long as Lord of the Rings. You know,
Yeah, yeah, something like that.
and kind of bad acting. I mean, not super bad, but like definitely like Arnold Schwarzenegger level of cheese.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty cheesy.
Yeah. So we're not gonna talk about Dune.
No, we're actually going to talk about Squid Games.
Oh, Squid Games.
Yeah, Squid
Are
Games.
you talking about Ojingo Game? Is
Ojingu
that what you're talking about?
Game.
No,
Yes.
there's no. It's just game. You're talking Japanese, bro.
Oh, all right. Ojingo Game.
Or you could just say it normally.
So
Ojingo
yeah,
Game.
that's I practiced my Korean. Uh, pronounced it perfectly for you today.
Yeah, you can get slapped. Anyways,
So
Squid
yeah,
Games. It's definitely the hottest show out there as of the time of recording. Whether it'll be hot when this comes out during Christmas, I have no idea.
yeah, true. I don't know. You had some numbers about it.
Yeah. So it was actually released in September 17th, which wasn't that long ago.
Oh, okay.
But the director actually wrote the script for it in like '09, so like same year like around when we graduated.
Wow.
He actually wrote the script, and yeah, it was number one on most Netflix in 94 countries, which is most of the countries that usually have rankings
Wow. Wow.
watched by 142 million households. So not individuals, just because no, everyone shares Netflix.
Right. Right. 142 million households. Okay. That's
Yeah, so that's
fewer
probably
than I
at
thought.
least.
I'm not gonna lie. But
But I
actually,
mean,
that's a ton. Never mind. That's a ton.
because yeah, there are probably like what 7 different people who probably share the same Netflix. So that's at least 700, 800
I mean, that's not
million
even
people.
counting like China, because I heard that China, like, it's popular in China, like it's going around like the internet in China, but you can't
Hmm.
count their Netflix numbers because they don't have Netflix. So
No,
that's
yeah.
not even counting the illegal downloads and unofficial numbers.
Oh yeah, yeah. Which yeah, it's really crazy how big this show is. I guess just because
Yeah,
uh, it's like I don't know. I don't want to say the BTS, but
it's the BTS of shows.
oh that
No, you can't really even make that comparison, but
because BTS is cooler,
well,
Mm,
I think BTS is going to have more staying power, but
yeah.
um do you think that BTS somehow, just like on that topic, do you think BTS somehow paved the way for Squid Game to get popular because they kind of like popularized Korea in general? Or do you think Squid Game would have become popular without BTS's popularity?
Well, it's hard to say because when did Parasite come out? Parasite came out what
Last year?
2018?
No, wait.
Was
No, it was
no,
like a couple years ago, huh?
because it was pre-pandemic. Because I remember
Oh,
he made a
okay.
speech and was actually with people.
Dang. Okay, let me look that up real quick.
um,
2019.
because yeah, 2019. Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
right before the pandemic. Um
'Cause I think 2019 was what Boy with Love. Boy with Love already came out.
I don't know. I don't know the BTS discography, to be honest with
Oh,
you.
because like Boy with Love, I think was like their first like major. I don't know if it is, but it felt like it was one of their like mainstream hits where like even non Korean or like people not interested in Korean or Korean culture still heard that song.
Well, that was with like Halsey, right?
Yeah.
All right. So Boy with Love came out. It was 2019.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
trying to
So
find
also about the same time then.
which month it was. It was about almost the same time. So April
Oh.
12th for Boy with Love and
Hmm.
May 30th for Parasite.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say
It-
that for Parasite. I would say that's too soon after that for that to have
hmm.
any influence. I think.
Yeah. Well, I think it's not necessarily the influence, it's more of the bookmarking or like the line in the sand that kind of showed how much popularity BTS as well as Korean culture was getting. So I think yeah, it didn't BTS probably did have a helping in it, but I think people are also more interested in foreign movies and media in general, which also helped.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I forgot why. Why did Parasite get so popular? Because that kind of went viral as well.
It was so different. Yeah, and it was definitely a societal movie or like a it commented on society.
Yeah,
And then
for
yeah,
sure.
I think everyone just because the writing was pretty good, the acting was good, um, the visuals and just the cinematography of it was also really cool. So I think it hit all the right notes in terms of like what the judges as well as audiences would like. Which
True.
I can totally understand if people didn't like Parasite because it's a different type of movie.
Well, I think it has a lot of similarities with Squid Game. A lot of similarities. Obviously,
Mm,
it's like Not even. I mean, there's a lot of similarities, but it's not similar. If you could
Yeah.
say that. Um, Comments on society, comments on um, like disparity in terms of socioeconomic class, um,
Hmm.
and like yeah, like desperation, things like that. It's pretty dark, very well shot. Um, but yeah, like it's kind of weird because it's just a random. I mean, it's just a random Korean show on Netflix. Like K dramas on Netflix come out like every month. There's like so many
Yeah.
new Korean shows that are just available on Netflix, but none of them really reached this level of popularity, like crazy popularity. And it's only been about a month since it came out. Um, so yeah, it was just I think there's like been a bunch of articles about like people talking about okay, why is it popular now? I think like maybe some people are theorizing that has to do with the pandemic and being isolated, but I don't see how that really relates that well. Like it doesn't like being in Squid Game has no similarity to being in a quarantine or being in your house.
Yeah. Squid Games. It's really hard to say. 'Cause, yeah, I agree with you that pandemic or no pandemic, a good movie is just a good movie. So it's like, even if you're in a pandemic or you're not, it would have gained popularity either way. Just because if enough people like resonated with it, foreign film, subtitles or whatever, or yeah, in theaters or not, it would just blow up either way. And it might just be because of the times where actually it might just could be because of the pandemic where people who are not necessarily doing so well or like struggling could probably relate to the movie, you know.
You know what? Like actually I read a pretty good theory. I was reading that it got popular because of TikTok. So there it was like really clippable or like there's like a lot of clips that went viral on TikTok.
uh
I feel like a lot of it has been from the teenage Gen Z, like younger generation. I feel like they
yeah.
really, because they drive the social media narratives. So if Squid
Yeah.
Game got popular on TikTok and social media, then it had to be from those like that teenage audience, which we're not in anymore. This is chilling
Mhm.
with millennials. Millennials, we're middle aged now. We're boomers, basically. So,
Doesn't mean you're not hip. You're still hip.
oh yeah, sure. But yeah, I think a lot of it came from that generation, and something really struck a chord with that generation. Maybe it was the novelty of the whole setup. Maybe it was like the visuals. Maybe the square, triangle, circle part of it. Maybe it was the shock value. Maybe it was like the
Mm.
clippability. But yeah, I guess my working theory right now is that it really struck a chord with the teenagers, and they really popularized it on social media.
Hmm. Go team. Go teenagers. You still scared the shit out of me though, but you know.
True.
Ah, yeah.
But do you think it lived up?
Actually,
So why did you watch it?
um, because it's on. Because okay, because well, first off, I'm not on TikTok, so textbook millennial. But it just came up on my recommendations list on Netflix, and then the first off, the visuals or like the little like visual card on Netflix, like Netflix original thing, it was very striking. Just because those kind of like pinkish purple jumpsuits, they're super cool with the mask, and then the contradiction with the kind of green like Adidas style
How many of
tracksuits.
those are going to show up for Halloween?
Oh, bro, it's already sold out.
Dang.
Yeah. Uh I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure Shibuya is gonna have a lot of guys dressed
Oh
up as
yeah,
Squid
true,
Games.
true. Actually, today is Halloween in Japan,
Oh,
and it's 6:30 p.m. right now. And there's a Shibuya live live cam on YouTube. Let's see if I can see what's going on. But yeah, let's continue talking about that. So you saw
Yeah,
on Netflix it was a pretty cool card and stuff.
yeah, it looks super cool. And then watching the kind of thing or the trailer thing, the of course the first thing they had was the giant robot playing red light, green light.
Hmm.
Which yeah, I was like, it's a Korean show that seems kind of violent, like maybe Game of Thrones level of violence. Well, not maybe not even that bad, but like it definitely doesn't shy away from the gore, like a
Yeah.
little bit, but like
I think that's what kind of
not as
like
much as Korean.
I think that made the teenagers that made it popular with teenagers. I think like the shock value with the gore and things like that.
Yeah, because it really did remind me of Battle Royale. Like I feel like
Hmm.
everybody makes that comparison for every like like people facing off against each other kind of gory movie, but it really did feel like Battle Royale, which the intriguing thing about Battle Royale was the humanity and how people kind of
Hmm.
overcame the human morals or like the kind of like the gates of like your humanity, how they overcame that in order to survive, which Squid Games kind of did that as well, just in like a different way,
Wait, what
you know.
was the premise of Battle Royale again? What was like the plot?
Um well, if you don't know Battle Royale, Beat Takeshi, super cool good dude, made a movie about, I think they were troubled kids. So like the delinquent class. I don't think all of them were delinquents, but like
Hmm.
it was mostly bad kids who they put on an island and made them fight each other to survive.
Yeah, yeah. But like, why though? I forgot.
Yeah, I think it was just because they were bad kids. So like it's like, bro, we don't need more bad kids. So they're like, we don't want to kill
Hmm.
them, so they can just kill each other, which is super dark. But
Right, right, right.
at least with
Yeah.
Squid Games, there's some sort of like redemption arc
I w-
to like, or
really? Is there?
redemption kind of purpose to it, because it's like, okay, so what was it, the first episode? Let me see if I got my, was red light, green light, which is where you first get introduced with the main guy, number 456,
Gihun?
and yeah,
Gihun? Is that what how you say it? I don't
yep,
know.
and then
Gihun.
you get introduced to him, bro. The first episode, like I'm like, I don't care about this guy. Or it's like he's not the kind of guy you sympathize with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's pretty much kind of just like a deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
Like he makes a promise to his daughter, then he steals money from his mom, then he
Hmm.
gambles that money, and he like gets his daughter's gift from like a crane game machine.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like, dang, like I mean, he's the main character, but come on, man.
Yeah. Because yeah, it's one of those weird things where the main character, there's no real sympathy for him. Not until like the later episodes do you actually feel sympathy for him.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
actually,
yeah the first couple so.
I was watching like a few interviews of the director and the guy who plays Gihan, the main character, and
Mm,
then like there were certain scenes that they inserted in there just to make him more likable. For example, the um well, it was ad libbed actually. So when he bumped into the girl Sebyuk and
mm,
they fell down and then she pickpocketed him and then
yeah,
she dropped her coffee and then he was picked it up for her and then he
yeah,
ad libbed basically putting the straw back in, like
yeah.
fumbling around putting the straw back in before he gave it to her. So that kind of added to his like funniness, his like charm a little bit. And then the other scene was when he got the mackerel from Song Woo's mom,
Mm,
and then he saw the stray cat on the street, and then he gave some of the mackerel to the cat. So there were
mm,
little like scenes and like moments in Squid Game that made you like start to like him, even though he's a deadbeat dad, he's a gambling addict. Um, he kind of doesn't have his stuff together for the most part. So
Yeah.
him and the director and the actor were like, how do we make people like actually like him? Because like some parts of him is just like not really likable.
No, yeah. Even,
So I thought
I
that
think
was interesting. I think they did
yeah,
a good job making him really like flawed and
yeah,
really like not a perfect person at all, but
yeah,
also like you can't help but like kind of like him because he's pretty honest for the most part. He's like
yeah.
doesn't make good decisions, but he's pretty honest. Um, yeah, and he kind of like takes some stands at the end, like. But anyway, we can get to that later.
Yeah. Let's see. What else happened in the first though? I think yeah. The betting, horse track. I think they got taken to the island, and I think oh yeah, they probably did play the red light green light game. Probably why they made it the title. Actually, did you know that the English name and the Korean name are completely different?
Yeah, I kind of knew that. I kind of knew that, but I only like knew it from afterwards when I was reading more about it.
Nice. So the Korean name, I'm gonna fuck it up, but is 무궁화 꽃이 피던 날, which the first like three parts of it is actually from where what the robot says because it's 무궁화 꽃이 피었습니다 is what she's saying. But in the title, it's actually just, instead of the last part where it's like to do, they made it into day. So it's actually the day the mugunghwa flower bloom.
Right.
Yeah, because what she's saying is uh something about the mugunghwa flower is blooming, which is actually more of an anti-Japanese thing. But
Oh, really?
yeah, because the mugunghwa flower, people who don't know, is the national flower of Korea. So it's a symbol of Korea. And yeah, like adults weren't supposed to talk about it just because, very national pride or like Korean pride, which the Japanese were trying to put down. So
Oh,
the
interesting.
kids were able to see it just because, soldiers, even though they know they're not supposed to say it, soldiers aren't gonna, usually, pick on kids and tell them not to talk about that. So which is why kids were able to say it and then still support like patriotism. It was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I didn't know that about the game.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I feel like the first game, red light, green light, or whatever the equivalent of red light, green light.
Yeah.
Do you think you would have survived that?
Yeah. Cause I don't know about now. I'm not very fit now, but when I was a kid, I was pretty good at games. You know,
I think I would have died, to be honest.
I probably would have been like with like Sabyuk and just like hid behind people.
Yeah, maybe. I would either like be one of the people that panicked and ran for the doors. I feel like that would be really hard to like resist. Um so yeah, I feel like I'd either died there or somehow just like move or something. But yeah, like
No, yeah,
I feel like that
lose your
would,
balance.
if we're being realistic, I want to be the hero, but I feel like I would have died in that first game.
I don't know if I would be the hero, but
Yeah.
I feel like everybody thinks that it's like like the kind of like you think you could wrestle a bear. People are like,
Yeah.
yeah, I
You would
can
have.
do that.
Come on, red light, green light. That was the easiest one. Have the people survive. No,
I
I
mean,
think you would die.
200 people
I
died.
think you would die, man.
Yeah,
No, actually,
nah,
that's interesting. This is never going to happen, but I wonder if that were real, how many people would actually have died. Because it was like
yeah,
50% in the show, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
no, yeah. Actually, what was funny was when I was looking up the translation for the red light, green light. I think was it some guy from Finland was like, yeah, we don't say anything, we just turn around. I'm like, bro, that's hardcore.
Dang.
It's like, bro,
So,
Finnish people
yeah,
out to kill.
it is pretty funny. The Finnish
Damn.
people are just like, say nothing.
Be like, bro, you guys are playing on easy mode.
Dang, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, Scandinavians always got to make it harder.
Um,
Let's see what else. Second episode was hell. Oh yeah, that was when they came back. Or like
the real
they
life.
cast their votes. Yeah,
Right, right,
and they
right.
got the games canceled.
That's pretty interesting because they did it in the opposite order, right, of the numbers, and then the last guy was the old guy. So we're just gonna do spoilers here. We've already done spoilers, but like that was interesting seeing that the last guy to cast his vote was the old guy, and he voted to leave.
Yeah. So spoilers again, just in case you really, really weren't paying attention. If you haven't watched this, skip ahead.
Or
Yeah,
just like go watch it right now before that coming back. That would be the best.
and then come back. Yeah, come back, like and subscribe. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. I thought that was really cool. That after watching the whole thing and then rereading like the synopsis of each episode, I'm like, bro, that's very. I don't know. That almost changes like your view on the old man.
Oh, it definitely changes your view. Wait, have you seen like the memes? The
I mean,
old
bro,
man memes.
which one?
Well, I think the most popular one is the one where he's like, it's right before the marble game and he's waiting for a partner and he just looks
Yeah,
and he's sitting in the corner.
yeah,
And then the right side of the meme is him like playing the red light green light game, like running
yeah,
in front of everybody. And
yeah.
yeah, it's just like the two
Oh,
situations.
I know. It's so many. I've seen like a bunch of introvert ones too. It's like when you're in a crowd and versus while you're by yourself kind of thing. Like,
I guess the other most memed one is Gihun's first photo, like the first photo right before red light green light when they're taking the photos everyone. Like he has
yeah, oh
like
yeah.
the smile, the innocent smile, and then like afterward when he's like all messed up.
Uh, oh, oh, what were we talking about?
um
Oh yeah,
yeah,
hell.
the old man.
Also called Geo. I think the most interesting point for me in the show was that the emphasis that these people chose to be there. Like the
Right,
first
right.
one, it's like, okay, you didn't know people were gonna die. But the second time they come back, it's like, you know what you're getting yourself into. And
Right,
you know what you're trying to win. So it's like it's almost like they kinda can't be surprised about what's going on because they already got, a big awakening in the first episode.
right. And they're like and that's kind of like O Il Nam's the old man, O Il Nam.
Mm,
That's kind of his point he makes at the end is like everybody chose to be there. Um,
yeah,
everybody could have gotten out if they chose to vote. Um, and then he's the one. He was the last vote on the second episode, and he chose to get out. So he's really proving to himself and proving that these people chose to be in here. Like it's kind of
yeah,
in well, it's definitely an inhumane game and it's just messed up on many levels, but at the end of the day, like these people chose to be in here, so he has some sort of like excuse to be doing this. Um so yeah, I thought that tied into the end really well.
mm,
Um but yeah, it's it's just interesting to see look at it through the lens of seeing the ending.
yeah. Actually, I just had like some sort of connection, but it's like, is it really bad if those people chose to be there and participate in that? You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, episode 2 was all about showing how bad their lives were, like outside.
Yeah,
So like they showed Songwoo, he was about to like kill himself in the bathtub.
yeah,
Ali, he like basically like was responsible for breaking like his boss's hand or basically cutting off his boss's hand.
Yeah.
Gihan's mom had to have a surgery, and then he had to like beg his ex-wife's husband for money, basically, or he begged his
Yeah.
ex-wife for money, and then her husband gave it to him, and then he refused it. Um,
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it was under the pretext that he would no
right,
longer visit his daughter.
yeah. So that was pretty interesting. Just to show the desperation. Oh yeah, and then like Duxu, the number
Yeah.
101, he was basically had a hit on him, I think. So yeah, everybody was just had no choice. Like either they could continue down their path and just be screwed, like
Mm.
very slowly screwed, or they could go into Squid Game and have a small chance at getting out of all their problems.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, for me, I thought if people are, yeah, choosing to be there, is it really a bad thing? I mean, like from the outside, we see it as a bad thing, but for them, from their viewpoint, isn't necessarily a bad thing because would living in that kind of state really be any better? It's a very like philosophical kind of question, but it's like in that kind of state, it's like it's almost like being dead, which I think they might have actually said in the episode.
True. Well,
So
that's
it's
kind of
like,
like yeah, that's kind of like OL Nam's point, right? Like everybody chose to be there, and this is like the one place where everything's fair is fair.
yeah,
Like out there, the odds are stacked against you. Like everybody's out to get you. Life is not fair
yeah,
in the real world, but here inside Squid Game, everybody's equal. Everybody has the same chance to win.
yeah. But yeah, if yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't necessarily think it's a completely bad thing, just because I don't know. I guess trying to imagine myself living in that kind of life, it's like, would I rather choose to live that life knowing that I had really no possibility of getting out of it, or maybe losing my life, but gambling it for the chance to almost start over on like a better foot, you
Right.
know?
It's like level one villain, Song Woo. It's like, okay, he's the guy who's playing the game seriously. Level two villain is like, oh Il Nam. He like started these games, right?
Yeah,
And then level three villain is just like society, where it's
yeah,
like, is that even more evil than oh Il Nam? Because he's actually giving them a
yeah,
chance to redeem themselves. So
yeah,
it's like, who's the real villain? I mean, I guess all of them. You can argue all three of those levels are villains. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, like personally, my favorite character was Sung Woo, just because like, well, he's a dick, right? But
Yeah.
he was at
He's
least
all
principled.
was he?
Like his principle was to maximize his odds of winning,
That's true.
and he stuck to that principle basically from the beginning. Um,
Yeah.
And so in that way, like even at the end, he had kind of a redemption in the final episode when he was like
Mhm.
basically lost. Gihan was about to end the games, like say, hey, let's just vote and just end it right now. And then Sungwoo killed himself. So
Yeah.
he basically sacrificed himself because he knew that everything would be for nothing if nobody got any money. So like if he was already going to lose, the second best possible outcome would be for at least for his friend to get the money. So
Mm.
I feel
Yeah.
like everything he did was quite logical. Um,
Mm.
obviously he like killed people, which
Yeah.
was like portrayed as bad, which is bad, but like it was a desperate situation. Who knows what you would have done in there? So
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like he was consistent and smart, and yeah, he had kind of a redemption at the end. He was probably the. I think Gi-hun was also a complex character. Song-woo is pretty complex too, so yeah, I think Song-woo is the my favorite character in there.
Hmm.
But he's the level 1 villain, I think.
Yeah. No, yeah. Because, yeah, I'd say level three villain of the society definitely makes sense because it's like people who are like poor or like grew up as orphans or, even like immigrants, they're all held down because of preconceptions that don't allow them to get somewhere else. Although, like my favorite character would say is that you can't necessarily put a value on my life, or like you can't necessarily make me what you want me to be, and then like that you don't necessarily know until you try, which definitely makes sense. But same time, sometimes society doesn't care. Even if you try, they'll still kind of put you down and never really give you the same kind of fairness that other people who, maybe grew up as wealthier family and had access to like a better schools and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Which I feel like, yeah, as minorities, especially in America, we definitely kind of understand. Granted, in Hawaii, we don't necessarily see it as much, but minorities on the mainland definitely see it a lot.
right.
And it's yeah. Squid Games is kind of just a more violent take on what it is like in society now, except it's more fair, more killing. Maybe not more killing. This is also
Yeah,
America. But it's very much a take on like society, just all
right.
like from first, second, or third world countries of where people have better chances, and yeah, just having the opportunity for fairness is something that might be worth risking your life for. You know, maybe
True.
not necessarily the prize, but like the chance for that fairness.
Right,
I think
right.
yeah, which is what like civil rights people, I guess, envisioned back in like in the American '60s, and yeah,
They didn't envision
so
Squid
many
Game.
correlations. Yeah, they probably didn't envision Squid Games. They might have thought about the tracksuits though, because that was still pretty cool probably during that time. But yeah, damn, that's so deep.
Yeah. What what was your favorite game out of the Squid?
Oh, great game. Let's see, what did they play? Red light, green
Really
light.
green light and then the honeycomb game. Um
Oh, yeah.
the what was after that? The marble?
Oh no, 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 the tug of war.
Oh yeah, tug of war. And then there was like the brawl at night, which was
Yeah,
kind of a
not a game,
game.
but yeah.
Yeah. Brawl at night, tug of war, marbles,
Oh, let's see. Yeah, marbles, and then glass
last
bridge, and
bridge,
then the
Squid Game.
yeah. Glass bridge is kind of on luck. I would say not
I
that.
hate that as a game. That was a BS game, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like all you have to
So,
do is go last, and then you basically win. Like,
well, like he almost died though because people were taking their time.
yeah, that's true, but like if you're first, like remember that math teacher guy?
Oh yeah,
He basically just ran the calculation. I mean, like, what were there like 15 squares? So 2 to the 15th. It was like
yeah,
1 in 32,000 that he could like even get to the other side safely. So
yep.
he was just like just started sprinting.
I mean, makes sense.
That's a logical approach. That's a logical approach.
Yeah.
Dang, but that guy that was like So remember they had to choose their order beforehand, and then the guy Gihan was about to pick number one. So there was only like number
Oh
one and
yeah, yeah,
number 16 at the end,
yeah,
and he was about to pick number one, and then that dude was like, "Please, just let me take control of something in my life." Like,
yeah.
all right. And then they're like,
Damn,
and then the game started, and he looked back at him.
it's like the
Oh,
damn,
that's
bro.
another meme. That's another meme. That's
Oh,
oh man, that part's
oh,
that part was
damn.
intense, but it's
That's like a
funny now.
yeah. It's like a metaphor though. It's like just because you take control doesn't mean things gonna get better. That's dark, but kind of true.
Yeah, I thought that was the most BS game. Like, it's completely
Yeah.
luck, except that glass expert guy.
No,
Like,
yeah.
just because he happened to be a glass expert, he could kind of like. But then they turned off the lights, so I guess they really
Yep.
wanted it to be pure luck in the end.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I thought that was the most BS game. I hated that game. Um,
I'd say yeah, probably red light, green light's the best one.
yeah, Red Light. That's one of the best games. Squid Game was basically just a fight to the death.
Pretty much.
I mean, yeah, it's just literally just a fight to the death. Is just Squid Game,
It's was it? It's Deadly Running Man.
basically.
Oh, that's dark, but yeah.
Um, I think the Dalgona, the Honeycomb game was pretty good. You had different players like cheating in their own ways, finding different
Hmm.
strategies for that game.
Yeah.
I like Tug of War.
Actually,
I
the
don't
way that
know, they were all
the guy
bangers.
approached it,
A lot of them were bangers.
if you're talking about like survivability, first one's probably the best. If you're talking about like most intense, yeah, Tug of War might have been up there.
Yeah, Tug of War was real intense. Marvel was like the most emotional.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they probably just made that. I mean, the fact that they introduced a new person like in like the previous episode just to kill them in the next one,
Wait, who is that?
was it the girl?
Oh, yeah.
Like, damn. I was like, yeah, they see whoever can get closest to the wall, and she just drops the marble, bro. That was
Right in the feels, man. I mean, that had like
yeah.
several different like emotional storylines in there. There was Gihun and number one O Il Nam.
Hmm.
O Il Nam was like pretending to have dementia and then basically allowed Gihun to cheat. And I feel like that was part of O Il Nam's philosophy. I feel like
Yeah.
O Il Nam, he could, so he was the creator of the games and he chose games that he was good at. He chose all the games he chose, he was good at. So he was really good at the red light, green light. Obviously, he had the tug of war strat down. Um,
Hmm.
the marbles, I feel like he was really good at just reading Gihan's face and just choosing the
Yeah.
right one every time, but pretending to be senile.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he was just like, yeah, and then he basically purposefully pushed Gihan to the brink to just one marble left. When you have one marble left, you're doomed because like everyone knows it's odd. And he gave him an out by saying, "What did I say?" And then
Yeah.
he gave Gihun an out to cheat. But before that, he was like, "Hey, we're best pals."
Hmm.
So his main like thesis is that humans will do anything to survive, and like humans are not altruistic or nice by nature. That's why
Hmm.
in the end episode, he was like, I'll bet you nobody helps that guy outside in the cold. And so, like, everything he was saying was like proving his point. One, he said everybody's in there on on their own free will. In episode two, he voted to let everybody out. So that further proved his point that everybody was in Squid Game on their own free will. And then he let Gi-hun cheat and basically kill his own friend for his own survival. And that proved his point that people are kind of like just doing anything to survive and not like nice by nature. So that's another thing that makes Gi-hun a hypocrite is because he's so mad at Sung-woo, but he cheated and essentially just killed his friend in the marble game.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know. He's charming, he's funny, he's charismatic. He does nice things once in a while, but is he really that good? I don't know.
Yeah. I still, even at the end, I still didn't really care for him. Or, like, I mean, it makes sense why he wouldn't spend the money or feel like spending the money, but at the same time, I still didn't really care for him, you know,
Yeah.
just because I feel like he was shocked, but at the same time, I felt like I don't know if he still learned,
No,
about his
he didn't learn
hypocrisy.
anything. That was like that was one of like the biggest things that I noticed is because if this was like a Western movie or a Western TV show, everything was building up for him to learn something at the end.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's a Korean thing or if it was just like a choice for this show. But I felt like everything was building up for Gihan to change because obviously he was very flawed in the beginning. He could have become
Yeah.
a better father. He could have like cared for others. Song Woo called him out like maybe the second to the last episode. Um, why do you always like get into trouble and like say things and get your hands dirty and like say things you shouldn't? Um, and that basically he never learns from that. He's like he could go on the plane to see his daughter, but instead he chooses to like take down Squid Game somehow. So he's not really changing as a person since the beginning. So I feel like if it was a Western show, he might have like gone on the plane, seen his daughter, like maybe happy ending because he changed for the better from this experience. But it seems like he's essentially the same person in the end.
Yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, it's almost like Saw. You remember the Saw movies?
Yeah, yeah, it kind of is
Yeah.
like Saw.
Yeah. I don't know. At the same time, I can still see why he wouldn't get on the plane. Just because what they're doing, they are taking advantage. Granted, people are choosing to be there, but they're still taking advantage of people, killing them. If they weren't really killing them, then it would probably, he might not have, he may have probably had a different view. Well, the games would have been completely different. But
Right.
I think, yeah, the idea of that they're so big and that they can get away with it. And the idea of having at least some ability or chance to take that down, it kind of makes sense for me.
All right,
I guess
I
just
got a
because.
fan theory that I got to put out there to document.
Okay.
All right, so we didn't even talk about the detective guy
No.
who basically just like who just like was there and then he died. But he might not have died. Okay, but so he is looking for his brother who turned out to be the front man, right?
Hmm.
So I'm thinking, what if the front man, okay, the front man is doing what Gihan is doing right now. So he's trying to take down the organization from the inside, but he's in too deep. So he wanted to spare his brother on the cliff, but he couldn't because he's in too deep. He has to uphold the trust the organization has in him and his like credibility there. So yeah, he's gonna team up with Gihan in season 2, and they're gonna take down the Squid Game together.
Ooh,
Both of the
because yeah,
winners.
mm, my idea is that he after he won the games, he went to North Korea. He served, but then he met someone cool, which is why he decided to come back to the South. And then all of a sudden he got into this game, and then because he could have killed his brother because he's an expert shot. You know, he could have shot him in the head, but he shot
That's
him in the
true.
arm.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is very true.
And
There's
you know, the
yeah,
old trope is if you don't see the body, you
that's
don't know.
true. That's very true. Yeah, I forgot about the North Korea thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
you know.
um that's a reference
Wait,
that
isn't is that even the same actor?
I don't even know, man, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I know what you're talking about.
I feel so bad if it's not. I'm
Oh.
not even gonna look it up. Not even gonna look it up.
Me neither. I don't really care. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's just like an unanswered, just an open loop that they left. Um, like, what's his
Actually,
motivation? Like, what's his deal?
yeah. That that might be setting up for season two.
Yeah, it has to be a setup. Like, one, they didn't show his body. Two, like they didn't say his motivation. They didn't like show any background about this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I could,
You just know that he has a brother. Yeah.
and he's like a pretty high profile actor, right? But
Yeah.
I guess the guy, the salesman with the what was the game, the thing where you he recruited him on the subway.
Oh, Dakji.
Yeah, Duckji. That's a pretty famous guy too. So, and I don't
Oh,
think he's
Gongwoo. Sorry. Are you talking about the game or the guy?
the game.
Okay, yeah. The game was Dakji, but yeah, that's Gongwoo.
Yeah, Gongwoo. I guess he's pretty famous. So, but that was I don't think he's gonna be a main character or anything.
I don't know. You never know.
Yeah, it sucks because most of the characters are gonna be gone for next season. But
Yeah. Unless it becomes a sci-fi movie.
oh well, it's already pretty sci-fi.
Only by aesthetic.
Well,
It's more of a conspiracy.
I mean, a robotic little girl with cameras in her eyes that like causes these automatic guns to shoot people, and then just like a stronghold in the middle of the ocean with just like Alice in Wonderland type of like architecture and technology. That's not sci-fi.
Nah, maybe Batman, but nah.
That's
It
pretty
seems
sci-fi
possible.
to me.
I think it's kind of possible.
I mean, it's plausible, but it has like sci-fi elements.
I I think it's just I feel like it's more conspiracy kind of or like mystery. Maybe it doesn't feel sci-fi enough.
Yeah, I guess if yeah, if you're judging it based on like, is it like kind of a fantasy of the future and how like technology could go? No, it's not like crazy technology that doesn't exist. But I don't know. I don't feel like that island exists in this world.
Oh no, I think it can.
No, I'm
Rich
saying
people,
it doesn't exist in this world. It can, but I don't think it does.
not physically, because yeah, if there were games like that happening, actually, I don't know if even know if people would be able to get that because
I
rich
feel
people
like
be
it
rich.
might exist, but like not with those crazy colored suits and not with those
No,
crazy like magical like Alice in Wonderland type doorways and like
not unless that's like their aesthetic.
I feel
You
like
know.
it might exist, but it's just like bare bones. Who knows? What do
Yeah,
I know?
they might be more of like monochromatic kind of color you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, like gray,
Yeah.
brown, just
Everyone likes
normal
a good
colors.
gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But who knows? Like if you're going through all that trouble to build a secret arena, like I guess why not make it aesthetically pleasing?
Yeah. Like if you're going for a kids game, might as well, make it fun,
Oh hell no, man. You new style.
Hey, it's the details. The details.
Yeah.
Uh, actually, do you remember the cast? Let's see. The guy who played Song Gi Hoon was Lee Jung Jae.
Right.
Uh, he was in quite a bit of movies.
I heard he's
Uh,
usually a villain.
yeah, he definitely has that vibe.
That's pretty
Just like
interesting.
the guy who plays Doksu.
Yeah, actually, I've been on the Squid Game Reddit quite a bit. That's how I like know kind of like some of the memes. But yeah,
Oh
apparently
yeah.
he has like a pretty he has an Instagram and he's just like completely the opposite personality of Duxu.
No, yeah, he's because he was on The Manager. It's a Korean variety show where like
Uh
they observe like his daily life with his manager and stuff. Yeah, he's very. Actually, he was also on Knowing Brothers too. Or one of the guys in the classroom, and yeah, he's kind of funny.
wait, he's one of the guys in the classroom?
No, no, no. He was in the Knowing Brothers. He was one of the guest transfer students.
Mm,
But it was him and a bunch of other people who were played villains or who were commonly like misunderstood actors. You know?
yeah, cuz his Instagram he's like posing with cats. He's getting like he has like facial creams on his face. He's like doing these like really cute things, like posing really cute. He's wearing sweaters and stuff.
Yeah,
Just like completely different. Like he just gives off such a despicable vibe in
yeah.
his role. He does such a great job of that. It's pretty impressive.
No, yeah.
Like he seems
In
like
his
just a
normal life,
grade A
he has that
ass.
perfect boyfriend aesthetic. You know?
He's just a. Why does nobody talk about the his like death scene? That death scene was pretty funny. Like she's like, and you also have a small dick, and then they just die.
You kind of gotta respect that though. You know?
No, you gotta respect that a lot. You gotta respect that a lot.
No, yeah. That was Han Minyon, Minyon, Han Minyo,
Yeah,
Han
I guess
Han
Han Minyo.
Minyo,
Yeah,
Han Minyo, but played by Kim Joo Ryung, number 212. Yeah, actually, a lot of these people were in a lot of different shows. Some of them actually had pretty good series, like the guy who played Sang Woo, Park Kae-soo was in Prison Playbook, which is actually a well received drama.
oh cool.
Yeah.
I
Let's
read
see the
that
guy.
Sebyok, Kang Sebyok,
Hmm.
she basically had no acting experience. She was just
No,
like
this was
a
her debut
she was just
project.
a model.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy because she did a really good job.
No, yeah. Actually, even the guy who played Doksu, his name is Ho Tae Sung, Ho Sung Tae. Sorry, dyslexia. Yeah, Ho Tang Se, Ho Sung Tae. Okay, wait. It's Heo, Hyo, Sung, Sung, and Tae. Tae.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He was actually a salary man before he became an actor.
Yeah, I heard of that too, actually. I
Yeah, and
read
then
that too.
he only became an actor because he drunkenly signed up for an audition program and like he actually placed fifth in it.
Huh.
Yeah. So he said, "Oh yeah, I guess I'll do acting."
Yeah, I read that he was like some type of like project manager or something. He was like he was just like a salary man,
Yeah,
like at the manager level, which is pretty good.
yeah. I think yeah, he was some sort of coordinator, which is pretty high up there. But yeah, um,
Dang, but he
I
did
think
a
one
really
of
good job too. He did a really good job.
actually I think he did a scene from Old Boy in the audition program,
Oh, interesting.
which if you haven't seen Old Boy, that's probably one of like the S tier movies.
I don't know. That also feels like this also has old boy vibes. Squid
I mean,
Game.
it's Old Boy, bro. I think Old Boy. If I'm being honest, I think Old Boy is better than Parasite, and I feel like it should have gotten more recognition just because I
Huh.
feel like it was one of the best movies,
I feel like
like
one of the.
Korean or not.
I feel like it was all about the twist, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, and
it
sleeping
was
with his
very
daughter. Yeah.
atmospheric. And I feel like I like Parasite better, but I didn't watch Old Boy recently, so maybe I have to watch it
Oh, but
again.
like, bro, that hallway fight scene is legendary.
Oh,
That was
true,
all one take.
true. That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. I mean, it was so good that like even like martial arts film kind of like learn stuff from that, you
Yeah.
know?
I guess
Yeah.
the octopus scene as well. Pretty
Oh, yeah.
iconic.
Yeah. Yeah. That's such a iconic movie. I don't know.
Right, right.
It's on a different level, but yeah. But that's a whole different thing. But
I don't know. I feel like a lot of these movies are just depressing.
yeah, Koreans like depressing depressing songs.
Yeah, Koreans know depressing.
I kind of like depressing things as well.
You
You
know
know?
what? I give Koreans a lot of credit for just telling it how it is and not like, because like they're not afraid, or at least in these media, to like talk about some like dark topics and talk about like things how they actually are. Whereas like, of course, there is some sort of covering up real issues in mainstream media in Korea. Like, idol culture is all fake. There's all sorts of fake and manufactured stuff, but like these things like Old Boy, like Parasite, things like that, they're really like not afraid to get at like issues, which is cool. I respect it. I feel like it's a little bit different than the West. I feel like the West is a little bit more reluctant to talk about like certain topics. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I give them props.
I think in the West you mostly see that more on the indie side, not
Mm,
necessarily on the mainstream side.
right, right. Yeah,
Cuz
but I
yeah,
guess there's like a demand for it because I don't know, like how Squid Game's commentary is not super overt. It holds up as just a mindless action. Like if you're just watching it for mindless action, you'll get it.
yeah.
Like it's you can enjoy it on many different levels. If you're trying to just turn off your brain and watch some crazy like action sci-fi type of thing, then yeah, you can watch Squid Game. But at the same time, you can like watch Squid Game and appreciate the characters, how they developed, their backgrounds, how that plays into how they're interacting with each other, what they're doing in a desperate situation. Um, and then you can also think of it in a societal sense, like okay, society is not fair. There's a big gap between those that made the Squid Game, those that are participating in the Squid Game. Um, yeah, and it's just like an issue with society. There's many different ways you can enjoy it. I think so. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know where to go from there.
I
Oh.
thought Saebyok. So Saebyok,
Hmm.
I feel like she's the only one that was stayed like basically 100% good. I mean, she was a pickpocket. You can argue whether or not that's bad.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know. I feel like she didn't really do anything bad throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that was really character development was she learned how to trust people.
Hmm.
That's kind of it. Her character development wasn't that much, just because it was more of just telling her story than like actually developing. I feel like only Sangwoo and Gi-hoon are the only ones who really like develop in terms of their character. Everyone
I feel
else
like
kind of
I
just
feel like
stayed the
nobody
same.
developed.
Yeah,
I feel like everybody was the same from the start to the end.
yeah. It's I don't know. I don't know. Seems like majority of Saebuk's character was just her being a dongmu. That's about it.
I would say
Or
maybe Sabyuk's character was the most developed.
really?
If she went from like not trusting to trusting,
That's true.
because like Gihun, he's a deadbeat like person who can't control his emotions, gambling addict in the beginning and the end.
Well, he
Some
didn't gamble the money though. He didn't even touch it.
That's true, that's true. But you could argue that Oh Il Nam, he bet Gihun that nobody is gonna help that guy in the snow.
Yeah.
Um, so he's still like into these sort of like he's not above these sort of wagers and stuff. Plus, like he chose to um follow his own personal desires over his daughter, both in the beginning and the end. Um, yeah, I don't think he changed that much.
I think he did change just because the only reason why I think the main reason why he didn't go on the plane was if he hadn't seen the guy, the salesman, before exiting into the airport, he probably would have gone on the plane. You know, I think the
Yeah,
fact that
that's true. But at the end of the day, he made the decision. I mean, that's not an excuse, right? Like
yeah
at the end of the day, he made the decision to not see his daughter and not go see his daughter for something that he personally felt. So I feel like that's didn't change since the beginning.
mm, I think he did change because I think he feels like it might be his duty to do something about it because it's like if nobody in the society would do it or even knows about it, there's only like probably a handful of people who know about it, and if they haven't been doing anything, they probably won't do anything.
Mm,
So I think because like the idea of leaving of not seeing his daughter, I guess I don't think it's a big thing, but it's like then what about like military personnel? Like are they not seeing their children bad parents? I don't think that would be at all. I mean, they're definitely not on the same level as the guy, but the idea of like forgoing your duty as a parent to do something that you see as bigger than yourself is an acceptable reason.
okay, that's a fair point. Because
Yeah,
yeah, in the beginning, it was probably a selfish reason, and then,
yeah,
but I guess like you could also I feel like what you're explaining is really giving him the maximum credit. We don't know
yeah,
if this is for his own personal ego or if this is because it's a duty or both. It could be.
yeah.
So, yeah, I think if you interpret it that way, that he's doing it as a duty and he changed in that way, then that could be right. But I also
Yeah.
think like we don't know what he's actually thinking,
No,
and it could be that he didn't change.
no, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think the fact that he didn't touch the money at all and he lived poorly when he if he was but as his old self, he probably would have spent the money just because as his old self, he was a very selfish person who, would just probably splurge it if he was still in that same state. I think having seen that many people die and having somebody who's a close friend of his kill himself for him would definitely change most people, you know?
Yeah, true.
It's like I cannot say that he hasn't changed. He's probably he's definitely changed,
But there's a
but
little
to
bit of
what extent?
irony. There's a little bit of irony there because he changed. He was like traumatized. He changed. He didn't spend the money. He felt a, a ton of guilt and didn't spend the money. But because he didn't spend the money, he was still living in the same place. He was still like wearing the same clothes. So in those physical ways, because he changed inside, his situation didn't change that much.
Yeah, but I guess in a more maybe it's because I don't know. Personally, I think spirituality and like your internal self is just as important as your external self. So just because from the outside he may look the same doesn't mean he's the same person, you
That's
know?
true.
Because yeah, if he was, I don't know, if he was the same person, he would definitely be in the exact same position where loan sharks would be out looking for him, and
That's true.
he would probably be acting the same way. But
Hmm.
the way that he even like interacted with like the bank people, or like the fact that he found Sebok's, little brother and gave the money to Sangwoo's mother is really nothing like he was before that.
So here's one thing that I read, or one comment I read was pretty interesting. Is like, so he went and asked for money from his ex-wife, and then
Hmm.
his ex-wife's husband gave him money on those conditions, and then he refused. And when he refused, he said, "You think money solves everything?"
Yeah.
And then in the end, he gave Saebyuk's brother, the boy, to Sangwoo's mom and gave them a shit ton of money,
Yeah.
and then just like dipped. He just like peaced out. So, do you think that's a contradiction?
Well, I don't think he thinks he's a good dad. That's why. Like realistically, if I was like that, I'm like, bro, I can barely keep myself together. How am I gonna like watch this kid kind of thing?
Hmm.
I think yeah, especially the mother doesn't know where her son is, so it's like having her like watch someone else. I don't know. I think that's a nice thing.
Wait,
Granted, that
does she not know that Sangwoo's dead
I
by
don't
the
think
end?
so
Dang.
because I don't think he can tell, or like he probably doesn't have the courage to tell her.
He never told her on screen, right? Like,
Yeah,
he basically
yeah,
said nothing at the end when he was going home.
yeah,
But yeah, I couldn't tell like if she knew or not by like the time he gave her all the money and stuff.
yeah. It's kind of infer. I don't know. I think I infer that he didn't just because it would knowing that your son died in that kind of way. I don't know. You would probably want to do something.
Well, that would be messed up.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would just be messed up.
yeah. I don't know. There's so many questions and so many different ways to interpret it.
Yeah. Hmm. I think the
Yeah,
ending was kind of a curveball in some ways. I think like there was a way it was building up to in the classic Western sense. The
yeah,
classic Western ending, I think, would be he gets out, he gets his mom the he gets his mom the surgery, he gives Savyuk's brother like a home and money, provides. He gives Songwoo's mom enough money to pay off all the loans and like live a nice life and get a whatever she wants. He
Yeah.
goes and sees his daughter and becomes like a good father. But I think basically none of those things happen. So that's
Yeah.
pretty. I don't
The
know.
only
It's
thing that
just like
happens is he gave the money. That's about
he
it.
gave them money. Yeah. So it's kind of like a curveball, I think. Um, and because it was a curveball, it was kind of like a little bit like I wasn't ready for that ending, but after like thinking about it for a little, like a few days, I'm like, that's pretty good. I was just like expecting something else as someone that grew up in the West and got used to like these sort of endings because it
Yeah.
seems like that's what everything was building to. There were like all these threads that were, building throughout the show. And normally you think they're going to get tied up. But I guess this is the thing. Like they're just showing not everything gets tied up in that way. Like not everybody has to change. Not everybody like
Mm.
is perfect in the end. Not everything happens the way you want it to.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty interesting. We'll see how it goes from next time.
Yeah. Because I guess that's what I liked about this movie and Parasite is where, well, actually, in Parasite, they give you almost the false ending. They do give you the false ending or like the American ending,
Yeah, that's
but
true. That's
then
pretty.
they take it away by the, like, it's like, bro, really? That's not going to happen,
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
let's be real, It-
yeah.
yeah. Which is what I really liked about Parasite. And then this, I don't know, the fact that his mom died, it's very realistic.
True.
And
That was very
it
realistic.
almost like, I, it, it would probably make him question, it's like, what was the point of this, or it's like, I have this now, but it's like, there's nobody with me, or, it's almost like, what's the point of it? It's like, yeah, I'll get rid of my debts, but it's like, only I would be able to live a better life. Everyone else is like literally gone.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of how he felt. I mean, one of the big reasons he went back in was because of his mom, I believe. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he was basically broken after that point. So I don't really blame him uh,
Yeah.
for not using any of the money.
Yeah. No, yeah. I don't know. I guess even though I tend to be pessimistic, I don't know. For this movie with this show, I kind of came out more of an optimist, just because I was like, I feel like this kind of thing would change most people, and I feel like it could change you for the better for the most part.
Hmm, that's interesting. So is the
Yeah.
Squid Game mostly a positive thing?
I would say depends who from what perspective.
Yeah. Well,
I'd
there's
say
that
as a net, I don't think so, but as like for his perspective or for him, it probably was.
there's that whole other side of it where it's just like a gambling thing for super rich people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of makes it harder to justify.
Yeah. And yeah, but I don't know. Like if these people are choosing to do it, is it so bad? I don't know. That's definitely a legitimate question.
Mm,
It's like, it's like people who do dangerous things. They're literally gambling with their lives, but is it a bad thing? Even though that because they chose to do that.
yeah,
And
that's
yeah,
pretty
people are just
unclear.
gambling on the side for it.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's pretty unclear.
But yeah, that's just there's so many layers of like gray with this and just society. But
Mm,
it's really good that this kind of show makes you think about it. Well, where in situations where I think a lot of people wouldn't, and I don't know, especially people who don't normally think about this, I think it's really good just because it makes you aware of things and makes you question things more than you would, which in a society that's trying to, or as a humanity and trying to be better, we need to question ourselves. We don't have to be like negative about it, but at least be willing to think about it or talk about it. You know,
Yeah,
just going
that's
on your
true.
regular day with your normal like routines and stuff, it's not a necessarily bad thing, but does it move the ball any further? You know?
Nah, it's kind of like in order to improve things, you have to acknowledge them first and you have to talk
Mm.
about them first. You can't like improve things while avoiding something uncomfortable. Like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, we want society to be fair. We want the American dream to be actually real. Anybody can do anything. We want, yeah, all these things to be true. But just because you want that, because like it's possible in movies, is that actually true?
Yeah.
Mm.
Is it actually possible?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, but it's not true. Like, yeah, clearly it's not true. Some people have advantages over others. This world is crazy cruel in certain ways. Like some people are just put in like crazy, horrible situations. World, those exist.
Yeah.
So if you want to improve anything, you just have to like acknowledge that these things exist. This is not a Disney movie, or this is not like your imagination. Like you can choose not to think about it. You can choose to watch Disney movies all day. You can choose to like do your habits every day without changing them. And you can choose to live in your own world that doesn't have those, but that doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So deep. I feel like that's, I don't know. It seems like something only like, or mostly older people think about, or not older, but maybe I'll say even like after college, because it definitely starts in college, but the older you get, the more aware and almost philosophical you get, you know?
Yeah, I think so. I think you just, I don't know, I guess you just experience more things, and I don't know what it is. I think I don't think it's, I actually don't think it's an age thing. It's just really just a maturity thing. Some people learn, some people are forced to learn when they're really young. And
Yeah,
some people like are ignorant like their entire life
that's
because
true.
nothing forced them to change.
They
So,
never got outside of their bubble. Yeah,
yeah. So, yeah, I think it's like there's a cor- kind of a relation to age, but I think it's more about like what you've been through, what you've
mm,
seen, and like a little bit about like your attitude of like how open minded you are.
yeah,
But yeah, I think it's mostly about like your experiences and what you've been through that kind of shapes, I don't know, how
no,
you
yeah.
see
Your
things.
your experiences definitely make you who you are. Just because it's literally like a sanding stone. Like experience are a sanding stone for you. They literally do shape you.
Right.
Oh damn, we got super deep.
Dan, this isn't
Oh,
chilling with millennials anymore.
bro, this is like deep drink talking discussions.
This just got, this is getting deep with millennials.
Actually, so the director, Hwang Dong Hyuk, uh, he's actually had he's done a couple movies, but one of his movies was also pretty dark. It was called The Crucible,
That
or
sounds pretty dark.
yeah, in Korean it's Dogani. It was made in 2011, so actually after he made this script, he
Oh,
actually the Crucible was released. So it's probably made around similar time to when he was working on the script. But actually, what's his face? Gong Yu was in this movie, as well as Jung Yumi. So if you've seen Train to Busan, Gong Yu is the main father dude, and Jung Yumi is actually the pregnant lady who plays Ma Dong So Ma Dong Suk's pregnant wife. Yeah, I mean the pregnant lady. But yeah, it's actually about okay, it's super dark. It's a retelling from a book about a school for deaf and hearing impaired children who were sexually assaulted and mistreated. Yeah, it's a super dark movie, but that movie definitely changed society just because it reopened investigation into the school. The principal got sentenced to like I don't know. I think it was like 16 years in prison. It got the school shut down. It actually led to legislation changes where let me see. I believe it's called the Dogani law where there's no statute of limitation for sexual assault for children under 13 as well as disabled people, and it actually raised the maximum sentence for child rape as well as rape of the disabled to life in prison because I guess actually yeah, even in the movie I think all the perpetrators only got probation. It wasn't even like they got any jail time, which is
wow.
nuts.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
so
So
that
this
was
is
a fictional movie. It wasn't like a documentary
no,
or
no, no.
something, right?
It was based on real events.
Based
So
on
I
real
feel like you,
events.
yeah. So it's like maybe semi fictitious, but majority was well because it's based on the book of someone who reported about it. So they made a book about it, and then
Mm,
they made the movie from the book. So it's
interesting.
mostly real, but there are probably fictitious elements about it, like
Yeah.
probably the teacher or stuff like that. But yeah, yeah. So that he actually made that. That was his second film.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang. Um, his head
So
must be in a crazy place.
this guy is pretty good though. I mean, he was a Sky University, Seoul National University,
Oh, just like
and then
Samu.
he got his master's at USC. His thesis movie went to 40 different film festivals, as well as got him the Student Emmy and Director Guild Award. Yeah. And then yeah, The Crucible was the second movie. My Father in 2007 was his first. Miss Granny in 2014 was actually a pretty interesting movie. Very lighthearted compared to all his other movies because it's about
Dang.
a elderly lady who um what's that movie? I think it's a Disney movie. But yeah, this old lady ends up being transformed back into a young person.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's super lighthearted. It's a really interesting movie.
Interesting. Interesting.
I know, right? And then after that, he did The Fortress in 2017, which
Yeah.
is more of a period piece movie. Starring Lee Byung Hun and Kim Yoon Suk. So Byung Hun, well, Byung Hun actually played GI Joe or Snake Eyes in GI Joe. I didn't realize that.
Oh, okay.
He was also in Mr. Sunshine and The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. Really good movie. Yeah, and then Squid Games was his work. So yeah, not a very
Nice.
long discography or filmography, but definitely some big hits. Yeah.
Interesting.
No, yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
I also want to shout out Anupan Tripathi. Anupan Tripathi. who plays Ali Abdul. Bro, it's good to see someone different on Korean TV.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. Because he was recently on Nahonja, Home Alone or I Live Alone. Yeah. They didn't really talk about it, but he did live in a semi basement.
Hmm.
Not exactly like
Parasite.
how people would normally picture actors living in, like apartments and stuff like that.
Right.
So but he seemed like a super cool guy, very almost outgoing and very positive, considering he's an immigrant in Korea or just in an Asian country.
Yeah.
Because I'd say Korea is a lot like Japan, where being different definitely doesn't help.
Well,
You
not
know
at
what I mean?
all. Not
Yeah,
at all.
yeah. Because he definitely played a lot of immigrants or like refugee kind of characters. Because he was in
Mm,
Descendants of the Sun, which obviously played a refugee.
right.
um, but yeah, he's had small roles in like Hospital Playlist, Space Sweepers, Ode to My Father, Descendants of the Sun, Taxi Driver, some really big movies, but they were never big roles where like they actually had like names and stuff.
Mm,
So yeah, the fact that someone like that actually got a named role and a lot of recognition. I think he went from like 5,000 IG subscribers to like 2.1 million. So it's like, yeah,
dang, that's pretty crazy. That's insane.
no, yeah. I really hope he does more things, especially since in Korean media where it's usually either really bad writing for like white actors or like immigrant roles, for
Right,
like
right.
just anybody who's not Korean. Yeah.
Shout out to that guy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anupam Tripathi. I said it
Anupam
right. Huh?
Tripathi. Shout out to
Yeah.
you. And shout out to
You.
you. That's right, you who has listened to the end. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. And that's the end.
Is it? What,
Or
what
is
about what
it?
about like Itaewon Class or Vincenzo or Hotel de Luna? What about all those? There's so many
Yeah,
great
so
Korean
originally we're
shows
gonna.
on Netflix.
So basically, the only Korean shows I've watched are Squid Game, Itaewon Class, and Vincenzo. So we'll get to those if you want, or if you don't want. I mean, nobody's saying anything, so we'll get to those.
Yeah, because we feel like it.
Yeah, we feel like it.
Yeah. Ah, damn, I'm gonna be thinking about Squid Games for like the next like couple of days after this.
Good.
Oh, but
It's
yeah,
that good.
oh, it really is. And I feel like anybody who isn't watching Korean dramas just because of language barrier, you really should watch some of their shows. It's really interesting. Maybe not just like Korean shows, but also even there's some French banger movies on Netflix right now, which is really weird. Never thought I'd be watching French movies, but they're pretty
Hmm,
good.
interesting.
Yeah, yeah. French movies on Netflix are pretty good. Who would have thought?
Cool.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. You got anything to say?
Thank you very much. I don't know who you are, but please feel free to talk to me personally. And seriously, do it. Thank you.
I don't care who you are, where you're from, what you did. Unless you did some really bad shit. But yeah,
True. I do care what you did.
I kind of do. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for joining us. Please like and subscribe, comment, and we'll see you next year.
All right.
Have a good year.
Bye.